This is a figure from an actual patent application of a security device that people can use in their luggage. Now figure is open in CorelDraw, and it's an active figure in CorelDraw, which means that I can select and move and create figures. Now our goal here, we know that we cannot make you a world-class expert in using CorelDraw to make patent drawings in the scope of this guidance system for creating a patent application. However, what we really want to do is to show you the sheer power of this program for making drawings and graphics, and to convince you that you certainly can do this. This is not difficult. So that's really our goal. Now, basic to all object-oriented drawing programs is that every drawing is a collection of a relatively large number of individual elements. Every element number is an individual element. Every witness line, whether it has an arrowhead or not, is an individual element. Every curve is an individual element. I'm selecting these using the selection tool, what they call the pick tool. Now I can pick this line, as you see. Now I can also use my mouse to hold the mouse key down and drag the line so it goes somewhere else in the drawing. Now it's not in the figure anymore, it's somewhere else. And I can take this line, I can change its length, but I can also use other handles to change its aspect and direction. Now another powerful thing about this program is that the edit command, if I click on edit, I can undo that last thing I did, the stretch. And I can undo the stretch I did just before that. And I can undo the stretch I did before that one. And I can undo the move. And the line is right back where I got it from the original drawing in the first place. So this is something to really remember, is that you cannot hurt anything. Anything that you do and any series of actions that you take, if you make a mistake, and I probably will in this demonstration, I can go back to the original drawing and step back through all the actions I took and start over. So that's a very powerful thing that you need to know. Now I've shown you that every object can be manipulated. It can be repositioned, resized. Another powerful tool here is that I can select an element. Let's select this curve again. I can say Control C for copy, Control V for paste. Now I've made a copy of that curve on top of the original curve. I can drag that and move it elsewhere. The original curve's still there. I got a new curve. And what this should tell you is that if you have a drawing that you can use, and we provide in resources under our home page many drawings, and we can provide hundreds of drawings that you can use as a starting point, where you can select and use elements to build your own drawings, and you can change those elements. You need a curve, grab a curve. It's not the right curve, not a big enough curve, you can change the aspects of the curve to the one you need and put that in your drawing, you see. So we also need to show you that it's not just a drawing that you have open that you can select from. I can go to Files, say Open Recent, and I can go to a library file. That's one of the files that we have in our resources that has a number of different sorts of icons: network server, a desktop computer, a laptop computer, dialog balloons, balloons that you can use for indicating networks, the internet network, for example. Change the size of that. You can change the aspect of it, so you can select this guy and do about anything you want with it in another drawing. But I don't want to mess up my library, so I'm going to undo the stretch, undo the move, and put it back in my library where it was before. Now let's go to File, Open Recent, and go back to example 1. Now before we do that, let's take this laptop computer and Control C, copy the laptop computer. So I've got a copy of that. I go to File, I go to Open Recent, I go back to the example 1, which is where we were working. Do I want to revert to the saved example 1? No, I want to go to the one that I've been working with. Now I can say Control V for paste, and there's my laptop computer. So I can go to libraries, I can go to other drawings, I can find the elements that I need, I can copy them, come back to the drawing I'm working on, paste them in that drawing, resize them, or change the aspect ratios. It's not the one I really wanted perhaps. Delete it, go get another one and work on that one. Now another thing that's important here, let's take this line again. Let's move it somewhere else. Now I click on this line and I go to Object Properties, and a window shows up that shows the stored properties for this line. The line weight, the line color, the line type, whether it's a dotted line or a solid line, the angle of the line, whether it has arrowheads or not. I can select arrowheads for either end of the line or no arrowhead. Just all sorts of things that I can do with this line. To demonstrate that, this is a 1-point line. It says 9/10, but it's close enough. I'll make it a 3-point line. I can change the line just by changing all of the things in the object properties. Now I want to go back to 1-point line like we had before, move the object properties out of the way, select the line again, go to Edit, Undo Modify Style, Undo Modify Style, Undo Fill, what all did I do here? Undo Move. So I followed back through my actions, and there you are. We're back to the original again. Now let's go show you. I want to show you if you choose to, and you need to at some point, make a new element rather than selecting an element from another drawing. We have all sorts of tools here. We can edit curved objects. This tool tells us we can crop. This tool tells us that we can zoom in and zoom out. Well, I've already showed you where we can zoom in and zoom out, how we can do it with the mouse cursor, how we can type in a percentage here and click in the drawing. It'll change size. I'll show you that. Let's go to 100%, and there popped up to 100%. So that's our zoom tool. This is our line and freehand tool. If you click on the corner of this, you get a number of different tools. This is my 2-point line tool. So I click on this guy, I can make a line from one point to another. So I'm going to make a vertical line. Now let's go up here near that line and make a horizontal line. Go back to that tool, find the 3-point curve tool. I'll show you something very powerful. I want to go magnify this 2 lines a little bit. I'm in the 3-point curve tool. I want to click on the end of one of those lines and take it to the end of the other of those lines. Now move the mouse and look what happens, what I can do here. I can just move that out to right where I want it, in the shape of the curve, click, and it's in there, and I've joined those 2 lines with the curve. You can see this is exactly what has to be done in a lot of drawings. So that's a very powerful tool. Now I go back, delete all these guys. I can select with boxes like that as well as clicking on. So select and get rid of that one. So you have all of these tools that you can use. You have commands up here that are far beyond anything you'll ever need in making patent drawings. So we don't need to go through all of these. And as I told you, we can't make you a world-class expert. The way you become proficient in using a drawing program like this is through practice. Take a drawing, print it out, look at it, open a new drawing, and make that drawing. Copy it in CorelDraw yourself. Start with a simple drawing, a little more complicated drawing, a little more complicated drawing, and you get up the learning curve and you become very proficient. We can't make you an expert, but Corel can. And Corel has, if you go to help, click on help, product help, that will go online and give you welcome to CorelDraw, updates, getting started, line shapes and outlines, object symbols. You can search for anything that you want. I want to learn about lines. Click in lines, go there. Anything you want to do with lines, right here. So that tells you, that can make you an expert. Practice and following the interactive, intuitive issues in CorelDraw can very well make you an expert. Now, the last thing we want to tell you here is that this is the very last video in making drawings. We think we've given you all the tools and all the resources that you could possibly need to be able to make your own patent drawings. And if you decide that you do want to use CorelDraw, you can go to our homepage. There is a link there to go to CorelDraw to apply for a subscription and pay for it. It's not expensive. You can do it by the month, just a few dollars a week, and it shouldn't take you, if you have just one patent application to do, you can do that patent application and learn to do the drawings and have them ready in less than a month. Maybe you don't need this for more than a month. But the sheer power of it and the fact that you're an inventor and this is not going to be the only patent application you ever want to do, will very likely make you want to stay with CorelDraw and be able to use it in the future to make drawings and graphics for other purposes and drawings for other patent applications that you will very likely want to file. Now I've got this thing. Let's go back down to the original size. So that's the end of this lesson in CorelDraw, and more power to you.